Hey guys, how you doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all those around the world. Welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video featuring a brand new Season 2 Jungle tier list. Solely Jungle. For those of you that have been interested into it, that we are not doing an overall tier list, just a Jungle. But, considering we've had a bunch of buffs and nerfs and stuff, this is going to be our first time doing just a strict Jungle tier list. We're going to dive right into it. Talonflame up here in the S rank does not need to be questioned. Everybody and their grandma is running Talonflame. You see him in every single game. We're all tired of it. But at the end of the day, this Pokemon just does so much for the game right now in terms of jungle. Mobility, gap closers, disengages, damage. He does everything right now. He's so good at what he does. There's no reason why he should not be an S rank when it comes to jungle. Just this Pokemon is really phenomenal, especially with Goal Getter. You can roar an eject button, X attack, X speed, but mainly Goal Getter. And of course my tablet decides to go off in the background too, like a lady. In any case, you can run Fly and or Brave Bird, do massive damage, and do just fine. Fly and Brave Bird, secure objectives, secure Dreadnought, Rotom, Zapdoses, you can steal them if you need to. Talonflame is pretty bulky with the right item choice. Let alone if you're running Score Shield and Goal Getter, you can just fly around the map considering your mobility. No one's catching you. Think of yourself as a Greedent with wings. You know what I'm saying? You can score at the enemy base. You can score when they're not thinking you're going to be over there. You can fly over walls. You can do a lot of stuff with Talonflame right now. I think Cinderace is also going to be an S-rank jungler, especially for that first jungle clear coming to that bush level 5 with the red buff. It's a lot more difficult than you would think to sit here and contest Cinderace. Especially when he tags you that first time with a red buff, you're not getting in away from him. Unless you're sitting here and your eject button, that's great. He comes out of that bush, you burn that eject button, guess what? Your team gets those bees. You're not going to come back because he has red buff. You know what I mean? He's a safe pick, a safe 80 carry, especially in the later games as well. Especially if you do really well with your positioning, the enemy team is not going to be able to get to you. And the worst part about it is he shines very, very well when it comes to, competitive group play or rank play or whatever. People in Discord, I'm talking about in groups. As long as your team protects you, it's very, very hard to take you down. You know what I mean? We have other Pokemon up here who I believe can be an S rank, and we will get into it. We will do the niche picks as well. For those of you out there who like to play niche Pokemon in jungle, because there are a couple of them that I also play in jungle who are pretty fun and who do relatively well. But let's go ahead and get the sad Pokemon out of the way first. Garchomp down here in the D rank. I don't want to see a level 5 Gible come into my lane trying to contest for bees. You know what I mean? Just stop. Yeah, I mean, if you're picking Garchomp for jungle, let alone, you're already trolling your team because you're not going to be able to contest bees successfully and get away with it. Enemy team has a Snorlax, enemy team's got a Crustle, any other bulky Pokemon's getting in your face, and you're not going to be doing anything about it. A level 5 for a Gible. Like, just don't. I'm sorry, no matter how much I love Garchomp, his buffs, his nerfs, or whatever you want to call it, anything that he's getting currently right now is not helping him. Now when it comes to Absol definitely is going to be C rank for me. Better than Garchomp, yes. By a lot, yes. But better than Talonflame? No. Better than some of these other Pokemon? Not even close. Now, it is great. Absol is fantastic coming out of that bush at level 5, getting that first gank off. It's great seeing that 2400 crit damage on an enemy squishy. You can delete Pokemon in one shot, I get you. But let's talk about in solo queue mindset. Sometimes you can run away with the game with Absol. Sometimes you're pretty dominant. There are some very good Absol players out there. But in the late game, Absol doesn't shine very well. Especially when it comes to Zapdos and these objectives where the team already knows you're going to be there. The team is already looking out for you. Sometimes you catch people off guard, yes, again. But when they know you're there, it's a lot easier to crowd control you, to CC you, to take you out before you're able to do anything, to wait for you to come around that corner to just go ahead and delete you. You know what I mean? Especially when you get to higher ranks in solo queue and or when you're playing in group play, on the Discord or what have you. You think they're really going to sit here and try not to focus you down when they know how much damage you're going to do? No, we're sitting here talking in Discord, in comms or whatever. They're going to be able to delete Absol, no problem. I don't think he has that high carry potential because of those reasons, because his damage is positional. You know what I mean? You have to be behind a target to do a lot of burst. I get you. But other than that, like I said, sometimes you can carry the game, you can run off with the game in solo queue. But again, in the higher ranks, it's a lot harder to do that. Not saying you can't, just it's a lot harder to do it. So he is one of those high risk, high reward type Pokemon, in my opinion. Greninja for me is going to be an S rank, without a doubt. The Pokemon, regardless if you're playing Surf, regardless if you're playing Water Shuriken, red buff Greninja out of the bush level 5, just like Cinderace, but except for this Pokemon comes on online at level 7, he gets his final evolution level 7, he can carry a game with just the first couple kills, getting your team ahead. This Pokemon can snowball for really quickly. If he's able to secure the first Dreadnought, which 9 out of 10 he can, if you're a good Greninja, you typically can carry a game. You really can. He does phenomenal damage. His kiting potential is insane. He gets lifesteal from Water Shuriken. He's kiting with Water Shuriken, especially when you have red buff. You're not going to be able to catch up to him just because he gets double team. He has smoke screen. He has a lot of disengages, engages. I think he's really good, especially in this metagame where he stands. Regardless if you go lane with him or not, if you're a good Greninja, you can actually make a difference in your team composition. Overall solo queue, Masters rank, anything under Masters rank playing in team, he's very good. We're going to talk about somebody else's favorite Pokemon right now. We do have Zeraora, and I don't think Zeraora warrants to be an S rank Pokemon. I'm sorry. I don't think he's S rank when it comes to jungle. I think there are better junglers than him. Overall, he is an S rank Pokemon, yes. For example, for a lot of people. But in the jungle, his jungle ganks were not very good at level 5 because Zeraora does not come online until level 7 until he picks up Discharge. Now his ganks are pretty okay, especially with, once he gets his first dash move and what have you. His ganks are pretty alright, right? They're pretty good. But I don't think they warrant the type of spookiness as a Talonflame, Cinderace, and Greninja, you know what I mean? Until level 7, when he comes out of that bush, or he's ganking for Dreadnoughts or Rotoms, what have you, rotating for those objectives. At level 7, yes, he is a force to be reckoned with because Discharge does a lot of damage. In the first couple kills on Zeraora, he can carry the game no problem, especially with his Unite move. His Unite move allows him to pretty much delete any Pokemon in the game, tank, doesn't matter. He does a lot of burst damage, it's very good at securing objectives, especially objectives, because again, it is a single target ability, right? But when it lands, it is AoE, and it does massive damage. So you're able to secure objectives with this ability, let alone Discharge. The Pokemon is very good. Even better in the right hands. If you're very good at Zeraora, you know dang well this Pokemon can be an S rank. But for the average player, I think this Pokemon requires a bit more skill to be involved, right? So he's not going to come out of the gate as an S rank Pokemon for a lot of people. Now, overall, yes, but jungle specifically, again, you're arguing, well, what else does he do besides jungle? He can do everything, but I mean, as general, just in jungle, I don't necessarily think he's an S rank Pokemon right now opposed to some of the other ones right now. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Sadly enough, Gengar will be an S rank for people who are great with Gengar, right? But we know his weaknesses won't allow him to be up there. But Gengar's weaknesses cannot put him in S rank right now just because of his squishiness. His defense, HP special defense, is not very great right now, but his damage is really good, right? But the downside when it comes to Gengar, his ganks out of the bush level 5 are very bad. Regardless if you're playing Shadow Ball, regardless if you're playing Sludge Bomb, because you just have Sludge Bomb coming out of the bush level 5. You just have Shadow Ball coming out of the bush level 5. Yes, Shadow Ball does a lot more damage than Sludge Bomb. Sure, you can clip a couple Pokemon through the bees with Shadow Ball, and generally speaking, that will get them to eject button away or run away or what have you. Then you can secure the bees. Generally, when you're playing Gengar, you want to look for those. If I'm able to get bees for my team, do it. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you might not be able to get a kill, but if you can grab a kill and get bees at the same time, it can put Gengar quite far ahead versus your jungler, the enemy team's jungler. Now, there are, like I said, there's going to be some other Pokemon on this list who are kind of niche for a lot of people, but they do make sense in the jungle and they do work in the jungle. But right now, we're going to put Greedent right here as a C rank for jungle for me. Now, he was a little bit higher just because his damage abilities, but I put him C just because of how tanky this Pokemon still is. If he's running Goal Getter, Essentially, he's just running out of the jungle to try to get bees. He's not trying to sit here and contest for kills. He doesn't do that very much damage, but he's trying to get up to that goal and get those scores off with Score Shield, because generally that's what you're running. It's kind of like a Lucario in lane, whereas Greedent's doing the same thing but from the jungle. Now, sadly enough, you chase Greedent, I chase Greedent, the enemy team's going to chase it, you're going to chase it, everyone's going to chase Greedent. So what that does is, they see Greedent coming out of the bush, they either A, are going to try to fight him, run away, or what have you, or he's going to try to score while you get bees. He makes for a good teammate to do that with. Like, he's actually still pretty good. This Pokemon's pretty phenomenal still, but I think he's a lot better in lane, whereas Lucario is a lot better in lane, just because, you know, Score Shield or what have you. But he works in the jungle just fine. Venusaur also is going to be a C rank. I think his ganks are better than Dreadnought, or not Dreadnoughts, but Garchomp. But Venusaur is not very good when it comes out of the bush at level 5, because he's just bringing Giga Drain, he's just bringing Sludge Bomb. Yes, he's got a red buff, yes, he is a ranged Pokemon. That Vine Whip does hurt, but it's not on the same tier when it comes to Talonflame, you know what I mean, the rest of these Pokemon right now. Now, once he gets Petal Dance with red buff, you're not getting away from him. We all know it, you don't get away from him. But in the very early game, he's not very, very good. When it comes to securing objectives like Dreadnought, Rotom, Zapdos, yes, his Unite move is fantastic, can steal it no problem. Petal Dance can also steal it, especially if you're running a bulkier setup when it comes to Venusaur, you know, like tankier items. He's very, very good for that aspect, but I think he shines a lot more when it comes to lane. We will go ahead and take up Charizard in the B rank. Just because Charizard can come out of that bush with Fire Punch, he's got an Engage, he's got a Flamethrower as well if we need be. He's got a lot of burn damage, and let alone his late game is very, very scary. I know there's a lot of people out there who are Charizard fans, and he doesn't get enough love. I'm trying to tell you, I think Charizard is a very strong Pokemon. Regardless of jungle or in lane, I think he brings a lot to the table. He can delete any Pokemon in the game by himself, regardless of who it is. If you need to get rid of Gengar, Zeraora, Talonflame, whoever it is, you can just delete them with Charizard. His Unite move does a lot of damage by itself. His ganks are also pretty good, and he can bring up Flame Blast and throw those on objectives, deal damage, low enemy Pokemon. He brings a lot to the table that people don't realize. His jungle ganks are also really fast. I just wish Charizard gets the recognition that he actually needs. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and take Machamp, put Machamp in the B rank as well. I think Machamp does better than Absol, just for specific reasons. He does have submission, and it's unstoppable. So you can just run in there, regardless of if you're going to get killed or not. You pick up a target, your team focuses that target, and guess what? You delete it and move on. I think Machamp is also really good just for doing that. Cramorant for me, I know it's crazy, but I think Cramorant is an A-rank jungler. I think Cramorant can be an S tier, just because his ganks are very, very good. Whirlpool, Surf, they're phenomenal. They really are. You guys are not aware of how good Cramorant can be in the jungle. Yes, this is a niche pick. This is one of those picks you don't see that often at all in your games in general. But if you give it a shot, it might surprise you. For a lot of people, I think Cramorant is under the radar when it comes to his jungle potential and what he can do. Then you have Pokemon like Pikachu, who are his ganks at level 5 are very, very good with his Electro Net, Electro Ball, what have you, Volt Tackle. It's pretty good. You can pick up one target, single out a target. Your team can capitalize on that as well. You guys can get a couple scores in, get bees. His late game, I think, has a bigger impact than Absol. Not as much as Venusaur, but Pikachu can also outshine a lot of other Pokemon on the list. You know, Garchomp. You got Absol here. Other than that, I don't think Pikachu is that good. In lane, he's a lot better in lane than he is in the jungle. But each their own. Like I said, we're talking about niche picks. Overall, people who actually do play jungle with some of these Pokemon. Sylveon, for me, is still going to be S rank, regardless if Hyper Voice got nerfed or not. Sylveon has a ridiculous clear speed. Her ganks are phenomenal with Red Buff and Hyper Voice, Mystic Fire. You have a lot of stuff going on. She brings a lot of stuff to the table, especially with her kit right now. And I know she's a little bit squishy, but if you're getting sustain or getting shields from your teammates, or you're running even a bulkier Sylveon build, you do a lot of damage with this Pokemon right now. I think Lucario is an A-rank jungler. Like I said, this is all my personal experience. He will do a lot better in lane, just because he has score shield, attack weight, or whatever. You're just running back and forth, making goals. getting benefits from that. Whereas when you're in the jungle, you're not necessarily scaling as hard as you could if you were in lane. You know what I mean? And then we have some other niche Pokemon like Snorlax. Snorlax is going to be a C-rank jungler for me. His jungle clear is actually really fast, and his ganks are phenomenal with Belly Bump. But his late game potential with Yawn and Flail is kind of trolly, and a lot of people will generally expect you to run barrier or your shield or what have you, because that's, you know, that's what you do. Your front line. He can do some damage. His crits are actually kind of pretty high with Scope Lens and Razor Claw, but again, that's not necessarily what you're here to do. You're here to tank. That's what people expect you to do. But again, niche role, but it can work just fine. And then we're going to have Decidueye here soon on the 19th. And I'm going to go ahead and probably tell you he's probably going to be up here just because his kit. I'm not going to give it away what he does. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. His abilities are actually really strong. And I'm very excited to start playing this Pokemon here soon. And also be on the lookout because we will be doing a giveaway for Decidueye. And I will announce a video and do the rules and what have you on how to enter and how to get it. It's going to be pretty fun. I can't wait for this Pokemon to be released. I think we all are pretty excited for this Pokemon right now. But I think right now, that is it when it comes to terms of which Pokemon generally you see in the jungle. Hopefully you guys do have your own opinions and thoughts and what have you. Let's reach out, get to me in the Discord, talk about it in the comments, what have you. This has been Pawseplays. Smash that like button, join that Discord, and let's talk about this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.